Hey everybody, I'm Casey Friday and this is my 2015 Escape 19 travel trailer. Today I'm going to be installing a battery monitoring kit, also known as a BMK, into this travel trailer. And the point of installing this is to enhance the readout of how we can tell how our batteries are doing. There's currently a digital display inside the trailer that has 4 different levels that just lights up 4 single LEDs based on the voltage reading from the battery, but that does not give us an accurate picture of how much longer the batteries are going to last based on how much we've used them already. So the nice thing about a battery monitoring kit is you will attach this shunt that you can see in the photo here to the negative post on the battery, and then it goes straight to ground. So all of the current that flows through your system will go over this shunt, and when it measures the current amps over time, hours, you can tell exactly how many amp hours you've used out of your battery bank. And since our battery bank has 232 amp hours, we're going to be really excited to see just how far that goes for us given our relatively light usage when we boondock. Because when you're plugged into a campground, you don't really need to know how your batteries are doing, but it's sort of nice if we're driving down the road and want to use solar to power our refrigerator instead of propane while we're driving. This has Bluetooth built in, so we can just take a look at our smartphones while the trailer is behind us on the road and see exactly what the fridge is doing to the battery level of the battery bank overall. So without much further ado, let's get started and install this puppy. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what's in this battery monitoring kit. You'll see that this unit I've ordered is a Victron BMV-700, and I will place a link to the Amazon product page in the description of this video. So you see inside here, we've got the main bits of it. Here's the sort of head unit. This is where we'll be able to read out everything, and it's got a pretty simple setup, just 4 buttons here, and you just need to drill a hole to place this into one of the overhead compartments for easy access. And then we've got the shunt itself. So this is what will be connected to the negative line. You can see, this might look familiar to you, this is a phone jack line. You can just use a simple phone jack and it has enough data connections in it to carry everything that this kit needs to carry from the shunt itself, measuring the current all the way up to the head unit at the most convenient spot for you to look at it. They also provide a square mounting plate, but I'd like it to look a little bit more sleek, so I'm not going to be using the square mounting plate. And then finally you have the power cable, which will connect this to the positive on the battery to power this unit. The positive is going to go right in here in this terminal in the shunt. The next thing I'll do is disconnect the battery by enacting the battery disconnect switch inside the trailer. And once I've done that, I'm going to remove the negative battery terminal first on this battery bank. And you can see that since these batteries are wired in series, this is a 6-volt battery and this is a 6-volt battery. Together, they make 12 volts of total voltage potential. And I'm going to disconnect this negative and then this positive so that I will have access to the wires themselves. So I've just loosened this 9/16 nut, and I'm going to remove these 2 wires here and place them over there. The next thing I'll do is loosen this connection and then go ahead and remove these 2 wires from the positive post in this battery bank. And now that those are both removed, we are ready to actually work on exactly where we want to put the shunt in this trailer. So what I've decided to do here is I'm going to run the actual shunt's hardware, which is the black area you can see with a circle on the bottom left, and on the right it's also in there. I'm going to attach it to this pole right here that holds the plywood on top of the batteries to keep them protected. Now when I do that, this will keep it solidly against the side of the battery so it will not move around. It can't move at all. The side of the battery is plastic, so there's going to be no conductivity issues. So the important piece here is that the negative from the battery is going to be coming out of this terminal right here and going straight into the battery shunt. And then once that negative goes into the battery shunt, the remaining loads come out of the other side. So this is measuring everything that's coming out of the battery instead of just measuring the one large wire. This large wire is going straight to the Samlex inverter. This black wire is going to the back of the trailer, possibly for LED lights and that sort of grounding in the back. So the important thing is all of the loads go through this shunt, so it measures everything to see exactly how much power we're using. Take a look down here in this bench. The cable is coming in where you can see the light coming through that hole. And what I'll do is fill that with some weatherproof silicone to make sure that it is nice and sealed. It comes up here behind the bench. So here's the bench seat. And this, I took out the screw that's right there with a nice little cap on it. This is where all the wires are run. It goes up here into this cabinet, and you can see that little access panel with 4 Robertson screws on that. So I'm going to undo that in order to get access to the phone wire coming up through there, and then I'll probably run it through this corner. So I'm going to undo that just so I can grab it, run it up to here, and use some zip ties to keep it along with the rest of the cables in here, and it will come over to this side of the cabinet. I'm going to be installing it right here. This is the work area that we're always working in, and we've got our table that I've removed right there. But over here, this is right next to the smoke detector, and it's just going to be very easy for us to reach up here and press the button to get the readings that we need from the battery monitor. Now you can see I have removed this corner trim piece, and it just slid out of the top. It sort of tucks in up there. So what I'm going to be doing is taking this phone line and pressing it into the crease in the corner of the vinyl. It goes right up there. And then inside here, you can see this nice little access point that I've pulled it through. And what I'm going to end up doing is taking it around the corner and up to there. As you can see now, the phone line is no longer visible hanging in this cabinet, and the monitor is installed. So it was quite simple. I actually used this hole saw. This is a Linux brand hole saw that my wife got at Lowe's. So you can get those for relatively cheap, and I got one that was 2 inches because this said the hole needed to be 52 to 53 millimeters, and 2 inches was as close as I could get. The plastic circular ring that holds it in place fits really well, and it all just looks quite nice and it's neat. What I did with the phone line is I just zip tied it right here to these other lines going across the upper area of this cabinet. The phone line is going to have to be bunched up over there because it's really long. I could cut it and terminate it again, but I would rather keep the long phone line just in case. I know this is really a long shot, but maybe someone would want to relocate it over to where the solar monitor is. I can't do that because it was not routed before we got the trailer, and so there is one wire going back there, and that's our cell amplifier antenna. That wire was routed during the build process, so it was much easier for them to get that through. But I really do like the way this looks, and I'm looking forward to setting it up, and that is what I'm going to do next. The battery monitor is completely installed in the trailer, and it looks very nice and flush in the spot that I've got it here. I haven't actually had the chance to test it yet and see just how it works, but I have used it on a couple of trips so far, and it does seem to show some of the battery loss when driving with the trailer and keeping some of the electronics turned on. There was a power outage that we experienced recently, and we were able to see exactly how much of the battery we were using. It'll be nice when we can go on a dry camping trip and check this out in a bit more detail, just exactly how well it works. As you can see, you've got the overall percentage, and you can also get some other readings like the voltage, how many amps are currently being used, how many watts are currently being used, and how many amp hours have been used. Nothing is being used since we are on full hookups right now. So I'll get back to you with a review on this after we've had a chance to go dry camping, but this has been the installation of the Victron BMV-700 battery monitor. Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to check out my review of this 2015 Escape Travel trailer, click on this image right here and you can watch that review, see just exactly how this trailer works, and do subscribe for future updates because there are a lot of interesting videos coming up. Thanks for watching.